Hey, alrighty, let's rock and roll. I've got a coffee at late at night. All right. Okay, let's put that down. Okay. Hey guys, really great to see everyone. I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes while we get started. Let me know if you can hear me clearly. I know a lot of times there's issues with the sound. I'm just going to press record here. 2 seconds, gents. Cool. This camera. Alrighty. Okay, we should be recording on both cameras, guys. Just give me a second. I'm just alone in the studio tonight. So yes, it is live. Yes, it is. Give me a second, guys. I'm just finishing setting set up. Okay. It's not working? All right, we seem to be working. Hey guys, yep, it is live. Can everyone hear me? Just let me know that you guys can hear me okay. I know sometimes there's been a problem with the sound, so I just want to make sure on the live stream that we got it and it's all good. And I'm just going to turn on a bit of air, so it's pretty hot in the studio tonight. Perfect. Hey guys, good to see everyone. Give me a second. We just had some new air conditioning installed in the studio, which would keep it nice and cool, which will be very, very nice. Because previously, guys, we're filming in Arizona and it was getting so hot. It was crazy. So, agenda. Hey guys, so let me tell you what we've got, because I've prepared something for today. And just give me 2 seconds while it comes up. All right. So I thought I'd hop online and just try something different, because I've done a couple of live streams before, which were really Q&As, but I wanted to actually hop online and test out a new format that I'm trialing for the channel. And so today what I thought I'd do is just do a bit of a Q&A first while people join, because it's probably going to take 5-10 minutes for folks to join. So feel free to ask away and ask some questions. And by the way, our new website, which I've linked down below, it has the ability to send us questions directly as well. So I'm going to answer some of them. Then what I thought I'd do, because I feel like this channel is a collaboration with you guys, is I thought I'd just share a little bit of behind the scenes of what happened in 2023. You know, some stuff that I haven't got a moment to talk about on the channel, really around the business management and what we've done. And then what I was going to do is talk about some exciting things that is going to happen on the channel for 2024. Some new things, some new directions, which hopefully you guys can comment and let me know what you think. And then we're going to draw the winner of the competition, and then I'm going to take some more Q&A. And finally, you know, you never know with a live stream how long it's going to go, how long people are going to be on for. But if we kind of cycle people kind of drop off, new people come, I might give the presentation again, which once again would be an update on how 2023 went, a real behind the scenes look, which you don't normally get to see in a tech YouTuber's channel. And then I'm going to talk about some exciting changes for 2024. So let me know if that sounds good, guys, and feel free to start asking some questions just while people join, because at the moment I just want to give a couple of minutes for more folks to join. We've only got 50 folks on the live stream right now, so let's do that. And let me, while this comes up, I'm just going to answer some of the questions that came through from the website, because I think there were some good ones as well. If I can even find out how to do that, guys. The website is so new. What do you guys think of the website, by the way? Do you like it? What we're trying to do there is, actually, before I get into that, because I've got a whole section on what we've got coming for that, which I think is really exciting. So if anyone has some questions, be it tech questions or be it website questions, tech questions or business questions, just ask away. So I'm just having a look at some of the questions that have come through so far. So I'm just going to give a moment, guys, just for a couple more people to join because it's very early stages. Give me a couple more minutes. Hi from El Salvador. Hi, how are you? Thanks for joining. Here comes some questions. M2 Pro Mac Mini or M2 Pro MacBook Pro for software development? It totally depends on your use case. I personally would go with a laptop as a software developer. Multiple reasons. The way I software develop, when I like to develop for a startup, I tend to like to go out in coffee stores. Often in the early stages of when I was doing Decarilla, which is the startup that I helped co-found, we would meet in coffee stores as a whole team. So having a laptop was extremely convenient, and me plus the other two software developers would meet in person, which was really nice. And then if you're software developing in a corporate environment, often it's nice to just bring the laptop and just sit next to the person. Say you're collaborating with someone developing together, you can just sit next to them, or you're going to a meeting room and you can just do sometimes these meetings can be a little bit boring. I shouldn't say that, but you can multitask on your laptop. So I would vote a laptop over a Mac Mini, a MacBook Pro for, if you're doing software development is what I'd say. All right, let's ask another one. And guys, just a reminder, we're just gonna do a quick Q&A. Then I'm gonna give you a bit of behind the scenes look of how 2023 went. And finally, I'm gonna give you hopefully some exciting news about what we've got for 2024. And then we're gonna draw the prize for the winner of the laptop. Next one, I'm just gonna have a look through. Opinion on the Yoga Slim 7. Oh, for those in America who don't know, there was a laptop that was not released in America by Lenovo called the Yoga Slim 7. We have one here. I was gonna do a video on it called the best laptop that you can't actually buy. Basically, it's a Lenovo laptop. We all know them. They make good quality laptops. Yoga 7 range, which tends to be one of their better ranges. So it's a premium feeling device. It's actually very thin and light, and it has a Ryzen processor, the 7840U, I believe, which is part of the Ryzen Zen 4U series, which was one of the best, processors for Ultrabooks last year. Very good processor. The laptop is pretty nice. Unfortunately, I didn't get time to review it on the channel. I had to prioritize laptops that people here in the USA, which is our core audience, that's unfair, which is a big chunk of the audience, is buying. So I didn't get to, and I'm going to speak about this today, guys, because at the end of the day, we as a professional laptop review channel, we should have reviewed more laptops last year. And one of the problems of why we didn't, which I am going to address today, is because I was doing this part-time with one other member of the team who was part-time as an editor for the first 6 months of the year. And then second 6 months of the year, we spent hiring like crazy. We've actually 5 full-timers now. So it was a big increase. But back on that laptop, it is a very nice laptop. It's a bit too thin even for that processor, so it can get a bit warm. You can have fan noise, but overall it's a nice laptop. The Yoga Slim 7 this is. Next year we're going to be able to review a ton more laptops than we were this year. Thank you very much for the comment on the website being really good. I must admit, guys, and I'm so glad we're having this conversation. We're just getting to speak and chill out for a little bit. I am a programmer by trade. You all know that, right? That's how I'm able to review these laptops with a bit of a deeper insight. And if I didn't come out with a really good friggin' website, you got to put your money where your mouth is, right? And even though, just to be transparent with everyone, I didn't myself code the website because I was too busy making videos. I did product manage the development of the website. And if we didn't release a really good website, you got to put your money where your mouth is, right? I can't say I'm know about tech and not be able to build a decent website. So I'm glad you like it. Very, very cool. And big props to our team members who did the coding for the website. And I'm going to talk about this again once more people join, that as we grow the channel, what I'm hoping to see is that you're going to see experts that we're going to bring in from our actual team to talk about specific laptops and how to use them. So for instance, right, and I'm jumping ahead in my presentation tonight. As the team gets bigger, what I'd love to do is when we talk about best laptops for programmers, for instance, I'll talk about it from, a back-end Java developer perspective. the guy who developed the front end of that website. He'll talk about it from like a React front end dev perspective. We've also got another team member who is more machine learning. So all three of us will kind of collaborate. So you can more of like experts' opinions on it, similar to what we did actually with the gaming laptop video, where Taylor and Ethan helped out a lot for it, and they're, you know, hardcore gamers. So I feel like that helps kind of enrich the content when you get to hear from experts who are using these laptops day to day to perform these tasks. Anyway, let's keep listening. I'm just randomly picking some questions, guys, so apologies here. And just a reminder, I'm just waiting till we hit about probably 100 viewers, and then I'm going to go into the main content that I've prepared for tonight. Next one, it feels nearly impossible to get a proper external display for a Mac that behaves well with Mac other than Apple displays. Are there high refresh rate options? Oh, I suffer from this as well. So this is Christopher. So he's asking for a high refresh rate display that works really well with the Mac. Funnily enough, Christopher, we've got an LG monitor off to the side here. I actually tried to upgrade my own monitor this year and to a high refresh rate one, and you can see there's a bunch of Macs here that I use. I had to send it back. It ended up being a 300 nit panel out 350 or something, and it just wasn't bright enough. And I'm like, what am I doing? So we're still using the LG. The model is the 850. And these are just, unfortunately, they're not high resolution. They're 60 Hertz. So that's what we're using in the studio. They work very well with the Mac, but unfortunately, they're not high refresh rate. That being said, if you really want to go nuts, guys, next year, Alienware has some amazing OLED panels coming. I've seen them. And they've also got some good ones this year, so then maybe they'll be on discount, but those work well with the Mac. They're crazy expensive, though, but that will give you everything, right? You're going to get, you know, great color accuracy, high resolution, you're going to get fast refresh rate, that sort of thing. Next question. Let's just, again, guys, just asking some questions. Is Linux better than Windows for programming? I would love to answer this question because I get asked about Linux all the time. I have used Fedora. Actually, I've used Fedora so far back that I used it when it was actually called Red Hat. I know modern people say kind of owns Fedora, and they're the, well, don't technically own it, but they contribute, the software developers, or a lot of them, for Fedora. But back in the days, there wasn't that distinction. It was just Red Hat. And I've used Fedora up to about, I use 29, 30, and 31, and 32. I think they're up 33 or 34 right now. And this is the versions of how Fedora increments their versions. But the fundamental question is Linux better for a software developer than Windows? I hate to tell you this, but it kind of depends on what you're doing. So in the days when I was developing some back-end software for one of the startups, the startup was running in the cloud. It was AWS EC2. It was running on CentOS, which is a Linux environment. I found it easier to have Linux on my laptop then that kind of mirrored, and it's a Red Hat-based Linux. Found it better to have a Red Hat-based Linux on my laptop. So when I'm developing, I kind of have a really good sense of the environment that I'm developing for. And it was just much easier that I didn't have to solve problems twice. Like if there was a problem, I had to solve it in Windows, then I had to find out how to do it in Linux, right? I could just solve it in Linux on my laptop and it would work on the server. So if you're in an environment like that, Linux can be very helpful. That being said, I gotta be honest, using Linux, at least as I did about 1.5 years ago, it still felt like it was like using a version of Windows from 4 years ago. So some things did work better for programmers, but there was a lot of just everyday applications that didn't work, and I found myself constantly switching back to Windows. So I don't think it really depends on the project you're doing. It depends on, is the project you're doing running on a Linux-based system, and therefore you want to match, and also how many applications are you personally using, like say you're playing games that don't run on Linux, and you're going to find you're constantly restarting back into Windows. So it really depends on your use case. If you're restarting to Windows a lot, you probably shouldn't be using Linux. It's going to waste your time. If you're not doing stuff like playing games or using applications that run on Windows and not Linux, well, then maybe Linux is a good option for you. Hope that helped. You used Red Hat Linux. I did use Red Hat Linux, Cameron. Good to see you, mate. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to ask, what time is it? I'm going to take one more question, and then we're going to get into the main content for tonight, which is a 2023 wrap-up of how the year went. I wanted to share some behind-the-scenes stuff about running this tech channel and how it went and all the changes we've made. Some exciting news about 2024, and then we're going to draw the prize. So let me ask, Uh, oh, I love answering these questions from you guys. They're so amazing. Sigam005 says, how are you doing, Josh? I'm doing great. It's nice to, honestly, guys, it's just so nice to relax with you and actually enjoy being a YouTuber, which I do mostly, but I can't tell you, to make those kind of tech videos that we're making on this channel, you got to understand, we might do 5-10 takes of every single thing because we have to get every number needs to be perfectly accurate for you, right? We can't make a mistake on anything. You know, a single 12-minute video just speaking to camera like I am now could take upwards of a 2-hour recording. It's really tough and it can be a bit stressful. So it's actually, I'm doing well. It's nice to see you guys and it's nice to relax. And he also asked, is this the first time this channel is live? Actually, that's part of the announcement that I'm going to mention today. I've done a handful of live streams, probably 3 to 4 over the history of the channel, which isn't many. I was struggling to find out how to fit the live chat content into the channel, which I'm gonna, and that's one of the big announcements I'm actually gonna talk about tonight. Next one, this is, Sigm says, nice comment. The channel is the most honest reviews for laptops. That's very nice of you. Hi Josh, do you follow cricket from Amit? Yes, good on Australia for pulling through in the World Cup. So that was pretty amazing. Yeah, that was really, really cool. All right, guys, I'm going to actually turn around this camera and then I'm going to start what I have prepared for you tonight. So just 2 seconds. Actually, I've turned it the wrong way. Silly me. Okay. Perfect, and I'm still not in focus on this one. Sorry, we've got a second B cam here that I'm just trying to get sorted. Just 2 seconds, guys, apologies. All right, now we're looking good here. Okay, so we need to go a little bit more this way. Apologies, guys. If you're wondering what I'm doing, we actually have a main camera I'm talking to right now. We have a camera off to the side, and the reason is because the editors, after I've done this live presentation, they're going to cut this up and make it look like a little bit of a professional presentation. So for those who missed the live stream and just want to catch like 15 minutes of what were the core points, they're going to be able to do that. So let's get into it. So the first thing I wanted to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about what happened in 2023. And because, as I said, this is a team effort, I couldn't do this without you guys. I wanted to share a little bit of behind the scenes of what happened, and then I'm going to talk about some exciting news for 2024. So 2023 was pretty insane. So I actually, as I kind of mentioned earlier, I was doing this part-time, probably putting in about 20 hours per week, which was tough. As a part-time YouTuber, I was doing it from the New York City area. And I had a video editor part-time who was fantastic, who was also working with me. And just the two of us were trying to push the channel along. And we were kind of getting out one video every 10 days. And I just felt for a myriad of reasons. I always wanted to do entrepreneurship full-time. I'd done it part-time before many times while I was working full-time in technology, whether it was I worked as a product manager in tech. I also worked as a software developer in tech. And I always wanted to try entrepreneurship. I also kind of saw the difference I was having. I know this sounds really weird, but like just helping people, even as simple as picking a laptop, right? Often picking a laptop for a lot of people, it's a big purchase. And I just felt that impact that I was having was really helping people. And so and I've covered this a little bit on the business channel, but for a number of reasons, just like those two, I ended up quitting, moving over here to Arizona and to do this business full time and to really supercharge it. So hopefully you've seen that over the last certainly the last couple of months, the quality of the videos and even the frequency has hopefully massively improved. And some of the things that I just wanted to call out from last year that I found were really, really special was, you know, I would say here are the following. I think when I look back at what we did, particularly in the 6 months since I went full-time, myself and the other gentleman who's amazing, he went full-time video editor. We hired 2 full-time people here in Arizona to help. Ethan and Taylor, who are amazing, who you've seen on camera. We also hired one full-timer overseas. We then added a part-time business person here. So now we have 2 full-time video editors, 1 full-time cinematographer, obviously myself. We have a full-time data scientist, and then we have part-time graphic artist for the thumbnails, who's amazing. We have a part-time software developer who does the React website software development. So it's quite a big team. It's around 8, which is just to go from 2 people part-time to a team that size is absolutely insane. And it comes with a lot of teething problems, guys, when you set up a new organization, like just small things that you don't realize. When you're working for, whether it's a startup, working in a WeWork or something like that, or you're working in a company, you take for granted that you get there and the air conditioning's working, or there's a good desk, or there's fast internet, right? But when you're setting up a company, especially like this, a YouTube studio, which is more in a blank space, you have to set all that up yourself. And then of course there was training and things like that. So it was a huge, effort to just supercharge everyone to get to where we are. And just some small things, since this is mostly a tech audience, we moved over to NAS-based editing. So previously, when it was just the 2 of us, we were editing kind of like on our local machines. We'd download everything we needed onto Dropbox, all our B-roll, all the camera footage, and we'd edit ourselves. And it was very slow because oftentimes someone had to wait for something to be downloaded. And our footage, guys, is like a single video that we do is around 300 gig. It's insane. We have 2 main cameras, a lot of B-roll, that sort of thing. And so we've actually moved now in the studio. It's awesome. We have this crazy fast NAS. It's insane. It's 6 8 terabyte SSDs running in RAID 5 or RAID 5-like array. We've got a 10 gigabit Cat6a network that everyone plugs into via Thunderbolt ports, which is crazy fast, as you guys would know. And someone actually asked this, and I'm going to do a video on it, like how am I able to switch laptops, right? I told you guys just recently I used the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, which is down there, for a whole week, right? It's when we've got everything in the cloud and everything on a NAS, it becomes very easy to switch laptops because you're not doing that much on the laptop, like you're not storing that many files on the laptop itself, right? So that's how. So that was a big step up in how we were able to be more efficient. We also put in a ton of processes. Like we added, we've got Trello, which is an Atlassian program to help us manage, and I can do a video on this, but it helps us manage, what upcoming videos we've got, because we're often working on like 5 to 8 videos at the same time. We also improved how we test and record our test results and that sort of thing. So there was a whole bunch of like process and automation behind the scenes to make sure, because we've scaled from just, a lot of YouTube channels, they might just add a video editor, right? But we scaled from 1 person to 2 part-timers to 5 full-timers and 3 part-timers like that. So a lot of what I learned in the corporate environment, working with very large groups of people, I had to put in place here. So we've got a lot of processes. We've got Slack between the team, of course. We've got Trello, as I said, which manages our upcoming boards, that sort of thing. Then I would say, someone posted, am I making Avatar 3? Maybe. I say that because, funnily enough, Taylor is really good at 3D video rendering. So, and obviously that's heavily 3D video rendered. Next, so one thing I think which was a bit of a win was we were able to hit, I was very worried because our videos are quite intense to make, and we were really struggling. Like a lot of other tech reviewers, they're doing 2 to 3 videos per week. I don't know how they do it. It's insane. But our videos, there's a lot to them. The storytelling, it takes a lot. It takes, like, honestly, guys, like 6-7 hours just to script one of our videos. It's really intense, and we review it with multiple people to make sure it's, it's fast paced. We hit on the high points very early on in the script. We then delve deep into the tech. So, we were able finally, when the team kind of settled down towards the last month or 2, we were able to get to 2 videos per week, which I thought was a big win for us. So I was very happy about that. And I think moving into this new year, we should be on pace to do 2 videos per week, which is great, because that's a big step forward for us, guys. It really is. We were doing 1 video every 10 days when I was part-time. Then we got to about 1 per week on average, and now 1 every 2 weeks is pretty good. And then I just think from 2023, when I reflect, I was just so happy to see that, again, as I mentioned, the storytelling has massively improved. We're just being more respectful of like what our audience wants, I think. A lot of people just want to watch the channel and say, hey, What is the best laptop? Just tell me it. Don't make me watch 12 minutes. I'm busy. I want to get on with my day. So we'll tell them it right up front. And then we'll give them the details as to why. If they want to know why, they can continue watching. And same with a laptop review. We'll just tell them up front, like, it's good, it's bad. Here's the pros, cons. All right, are you interested in hearing more? Now let's get into it. So it's kind of like this pyramid of information as we hit the high points at the top and then we filter in. So that was an improvement, I thought, in the storytelling. We're more fast-paced. The editing, I think, has been a lot better. Like, it's a lot more exciting how we're editing, which is good. You know, since that, we've seen some growth, right? Our views are around, we've kind of doubled our views, which is hopefully we're going to massively improve that moving into 2024. And then just rounding out 2023, you know, obviously we launched this website, which was a huge build that we did off to the side that we didn't even do a video to announce the website. We just did a bit of a silent launch, which is what you call when you kind of start rolling a big tech project out to just a small audience. We just wanted to see if it was working before we rolled it out to everyone. So yeah, we launched a big new website, which is great, justjosh.tech. And that website was really designed to solve two problems. One, like why are people watching our videos? They're watching our videos to find what they should buy. And the question afterwards is, well, where should I buy it to get the best deal? So the website is designed to just give you a list of all the laptops we recommend for different types of users and very quickly tell you where you should buy to go to buy and get the best deal from them. Then, yeah, I think that kind of rounds up 2023. So it was to deliver that kind of amount of work was just a crazy effort. So let me just see if anyone has a question on that, and then I want to talk about 2024. So, yeah. Okay, so people ask, what do you need a data science and developer for in your company? Why do we have a full-time data scientist, would you ask, who knows ML? Because I see the software side and the automation as integral to running a business like this. So let me give you an example, right? There is going to be data about which laptops people are buying, why are they buying them. There's like, what else would we run data science on? We have a variety, like where are they going to buy laptops? Like understanding how people buy technology, why they buy the technology, that sort of thing is very, very important for us to, you know, find out what do you guys want to see? What are we not showing you that we should be showing you? Yeah, it is actually, it's quite important. So I'm a big believer in data, and there's a lot of data in this business, whether it is the data that we're testing on the devices themselves, and that's not, you wouldn't use ML for that, there's not a big enough data sets, but you know, there's data analysis of that. Then there is, as I said, usage of analysis of how people are using the website and why they're buying and things like that, that's involved. And finally, there's also, you know, eventually updating the pricing and the products, and we're going to do a bunch of algorithms that we're going to put on the website itself. So certain, like, we have a crazy deal section that should be updated automatically based on, you know, pricing changes and things like that based on the products that we recommend. And when it's a little bit more complex than that. So for instance, if a laptop we really like drops in $200, well, that's a crazy deal. If a laptop we only like a little bit drops by $400, well, that's a crazy deal because now the pricing has equated to the fact that we don't like it as much, right? So there's I'm a big believer that we can supercharge. And another one, all our graphs, right? Our graphs right now, they're manually done in Excel. Like they should be done in Tableau or Power BI. Like let's call a spade a spade. So that's why we have invested in getting a data scientist on the team. All right, let's get into 2024. So we had a pretty decent year, big year, I think, in the last 6 months for 2023. But 2024 hopefully is going to be even better. And this is what we got on the cards for you. So firstly, we spent a lot of time, or I certainly did, and again, data scientists at the end of the last year, looking at the YouTube videos and what people are watching. And this year we're going to be very careful to make sure we're really picking big topics that people want to see. So we're going to be very focused on roundup videos. We know that you guys love that kind of content from us. They're very hard to do, by the way, guys, because we literally get in 17 laptops. We test them side by side. They take, one of those roundup videos, I promise you, takes 2 to 3 times what it takes in terms of time to review a laptop. So we put them all here on the desk, we test all the sound, that sort of thing. So we're gonna do a lot more roundup videos in 2024. And there's a lot of use cases we didn't touch, like best Chromebook, best 2-in-1, best laptop for video editors, best laptop for DJs. So we're gonna do 2 programming best laptops next year as well, because that's, you know, part of our core audience. So we're gonna do a lot more roundup videos. We're also gonna be laser focused to review all the marquee laptops coming out. In fact, we have this laptop we're planning to review early next year. I can't speak about it. Framework 16. That we're gonna do. We've got a couple of Media Lakes, which are gonna be awesome. So we got a lot of exciting ones coming, and last year we didn't hit all the marquee laptops. And the reason we didn't is because we just didn't have capacity early in the year. It was me and one other guy working part-time. So this year we have a lot more capacity, and what I wanna make sure is before we get to the back to school buying season or the Black Friday buying system, we've already tested all the laptops and can just focus on the roundup videos. So that's a big one. Then the next one is in terms of producing better content. You know, I hear you guys that you guys like when we're tough on manufacturers because we're fighting for you. And I want to make sure we're doing that. And with that comes a couple of things. I didn't love that we did a couple of paid for reviews, even though they were kind of like, you know, I obviously only accepted them because I could say the cons as well. I just think it's not in your best interest that we're taking money to do reviews. We only did, I think, 2 last year. But we got to be unbiased. So I'm going to change with our partners what they can or can't sponsor. And instead we may do sponsored showcases where we just tell you guys, hey, this is a showcase of a new product line that's coming, here's what it is. But most likely we'll probably only take sponsored inserts. So these are like the 45-second inserts within a video, because I just think those, and we'll be taking only for inserts for products that are just unrelated to the content of the video. So if it's a laptop review or a roundup, we're not going to take a sponsored insert for another laptop. We'll take one for a charger or something like that, right? So that's a bit of a change to make sure, and that also allows us to be tougher on manufacturers, right? You know, and I've got a video actually I'm working on for late January, which is can you trust tech reviewers, which I'm going to share a lot of the inner workings of like how we get paid. Are we kind of biased? Are we not? When are we potentially influenced? So I'm going to share the inner workings of that late January, but that's a bit of a change as well. Then moving into 2024 as well, really focused on improving the storytelling, but we're also going to improve the set a little bit. So you're going to notice some things, particularly you even see some of the construction above this artwork here. We're going to improve the set as well. And one which I'm very excited about, we're going to wear new shirts. I've been wearing these shirts, these are Theory shirts, on this YouTube channel for like, what, 3-4 years? If I have to wear these shirts one more time, I'm done. So that I'm very excited about. And then we're going to also expand a little bit. So a little bit more, we're going to add a little bit more comedy to some of our our videos as well. And we're going to go out and about. We've actually bought some new equipment, which will allow us to film a little bit more out and about, which should be a bit fun. And we've got some good, exciting videos there. And yeah, guys, I am going to answer some more questions. By the way, I see them coming through later on. So just hang tight, guys. I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about the content first. And then in 2024 as well, you know, I talked about this as well. I definitely want producing more content is a big thing. We want to make sure we're really hitting at least 1 to 2 videos every week. Ideally 2. In the weeks that we have those big roundup videos, it's probably going to be 1 because those are just such big videos. And one thing that as we move into 2024, particularly the end of 2024, I'm very big on having other specialists help present. So if we're doing a laptop that's very good for, say, gaming, I really want to make sure we've got 2 to 3 gamers who are hardcore gamers on the channel telling you their experiences with the laptop. Same goes for coding, same goes for video editing, all the major users of laptops, even business users. I really want to start. This is going to do 2 things. One, it's going to give you a more well-rounded perspective of the laptop from different professional users. And then the other one is, I hate to say it, but the channel does need to be a little bit more less me-centric. I think the other guys, Taylor and Ethan, are doing a great job coming up to speed of being on camera. And, you know, I'll still be there testing most of the devices. But if we're going to grow and we're going to scale, obviously I can't be on every single, I mean, I could, but it's going to prevent us scaling as much as I'd like. So things like if we're just running through telling you results of benchmarks, one of the other team members could hop in and do that, and that will allow us to scale, which means we can produce more content for you. So that's something that we're kind of working on as well. So having more experts on the channel, and as I said, sharing the load with being on camera. And then, I talked a bit about this, broadening our reach. We're going to touch Chromebooks next year, maybe all-in-ones, laptop accessories, two-in-one laptop. So we're going to go a little bit broader. I still want to be very micro-focused on the laptop space because I just feel like there's a lot more ground that we can cover that we weren't covering. And then on the website, we've got some really big changes coming for the website. And this is part of, I think, some of the most exciting news for you guys. I'm really excited by this. When we test laptops right now, any reviewer who's testing them, so when Taylor tests them or I test them or Ethan tests them, these are the guys, the three of us are more hands-on with the devices. We're all currently filling in this online system we have using Trello, it's an Atlassian product, about what our results are. That's changing next year. About Q2 next year, all our notes will be public on the website. And this is a huge thing for you guys. What this means is you guys can get an earlier look at the laptops we're testing. You do not have to wait for the video anymore. So you'll be able to see our reviewer notes as they're being written on the laptop. If we suddenly start feeling it being hot or feeling that the keyboard is uncomfortable or maybe the battery life is low, you'll see those results really early. The other good thing about that is this year we tested, I think it ended up being about 76 different laptops. It was insane. But I would say 40 maybe made it into a video, maybe a bit more than that. And that meant that we tested another 30 odd laptops that you guys could never see the results of what were our findings. So right now the website is very focused on what we recommend and where to find the best deals on them. Going forward, you're also going to see the laptops that we didn't recommend and why. So it will mean that any laptop that we've even touched, like right now we did 2 Microsoft Surface devices, they barely were on any video. You'll be able to see, like, why did we not like the Microsoft Surface Studio 2? It got really warm on the palm rest. It has a very odd cooling design. It blows hot air constantly in your hands. The positives, it's a nice screen, it's silent, but it's also uncomfortable to hold. You'll be able to see all our reviews on every device we've tested, not just the ones on camera, and you'll be able to see it faster. So that's one of the biggest changes that we've got coming next year. Then I was going to say, what else we got coming for you on the website? Yes. The other one is, from a business standpoint, we're putting a lot of effort into producing these scripts that you guys see and testing for these big videos. And when I say the big ones, best 14-inch laptop, best gaming, all of that kind of stuff. We're going to do a lot more of them next year. It is, from a business perspective, it is absolutely insane that we're only producing this content on YouTube, right? We've already done the effort. So again, on the website, there's going to be a new section launched, which will have articles. So all of our big videos or reviews, you'll be able to just read them. If you want to just sit there, have a nice coffee and read them versus watch the video, you'll be able to do that. And the next one is, so that's I think a really, really cool thing. And we may even put them on podcasts as well, which I'm considering as well. So that will involve, we're probably going to need to hire one other person to help with that because that's additional production. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up about that. Now, I'm almost tired from all this talking. It's crazy. Someone said the quality of the live stream is excellent. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So, that is the big news about the website. So I think there's 2 big news I wanted to tell you. One, the website, you guys being able to see our reviews literally as we're typing them, which is insane. I've never seen anyone else doing that. None of the big ones, Linus or Marquez. No one else is doing that. And we will give you a warning saying this device is partially tested so you guys can see that, hey, it's in progress, but it will mean that honestly, guys, it takes us like 3 weeks from unboxing a laptop to getting a video out there, which means that you can get our thoughts on it just much earlier. And this is the second big news, which I'm about to share right now. Okay. So I didn't actually quit my job to just do the tech channel. My original reason for quitting the job was I would keep the tech channel as my part-time channel, which I enjoy doing, but I would actually launch this business channel. And if you don't know about it, it's called Just Josh Business. And I tried to do it. And what I found straight away was starting a brand new business, hiring a bunch of folks, helping train folks. It was a lot of effort. And I also found that with business content, it just didn't work well with the same format that we're using for tech content. So with tech content, you have to be very, very precise, right? I cannot get the name of a CPU wrong. You guys know that. The memory timings I can't get wrong. It has to be super precise. But with business content, you want to be watching someone who's kind of natural in how they're presenting. You know, they make mistakes, right? You also want to be more inspired, which it's hard to do that when you're reading off a script. And so the business channel, it just didn't work the way I intended it. So here's what I'm planning to do, because I still think there's immense, I hope this, and I'm not trying to be arrogant here, you know, I've talked about this on some of the discussions about the business channel. I made it to the highest level at a premier Wall Street bank by quite a young age, and it was very, very difficult, but I learned a lot from that. And I still feel there's a huge amount of value that I can offer people who are working up the corporate ladder or on the entrepreneurial side, because I've had a lot of experience there, right? So I think it's very valuable to have the business channel. So this is what I'm planning to do. We're flipping them. The tech channel will actually be the primary channel. It has been, and it's going to continue to be the primary channel. I didn't intend that to be the primary channel. I intended the business one to be the primary, but the tech will be the primary. What I'm going to do is, instead of scripted content with the business channel, every Thursday, I'm going to go live. Every Thursday. This is crazy, even if I'm in a hotel room. And I'm going to go live and talk about a different business topic. Before I go live, I'm going to sit down for a couple of hours, just prepare some talking points. I don't want to spend too much time preparing because it's going to take away from the tech channel. Plus, I know the business content. I've lived it for, honestly, my entire career. And each Thursday, I'm going to choose a different topic. The first Thursday, which is the Thursday of the new year, I'm planning to choose, it's a new year, what to do if you want to switch your careers, and I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to give like a 20-minute presentation on it, then I'm going to answer some questions on it. I'm going to try to avoid answering questions in that session on laptops because I want to keep it very specific to business and helping you guys grow your career, because I do think there's a big overlap. When I hear from you guys who watch my content, a lot of you guys are either students or you're starting your career or you want to be more successful in your career. So I want to help you in that way as well. Now, with this change to the business channel, there's going to be no more scripted videos like there have been. There's like 3 or 4 already posted on that channel. It's going to be now, as I said, every Thursday, a live stream. It's going to be the same kind of time as the one I'm doing right now. It'll be a similar format as the one I'm doing right now. With that, I'm also rebranding the business channel. Right now, it's got this kind of brown color to it. It's going to change to a black color. It's going to be a little bit more, well, black is not a color, but it's going to be a little bit more stylish in how it looks. So there'll be a lot more differentiation between it and the tech channel. And hopefully, guys, that helps you. So I'm just going to read some comments to see what you guys are saying as I announce those 2 big changes, because they are pretty big changes, right? So, Anteater23 asks a business question. So I'm going to zoom in on his one because it's a good business question and we're talking about the business channel here. And he asks, how did you cope with the pressure of working at a high position? What a question. So, and these are the questions I do want to answer in the business live stream. So just to give you some context, my team was, I ran the product management team for our technology products for banking, lending, and mortgage at the bank that I was at. You know, I would say to work up to that kind of point in your career, you deal with a lot of tough stuff. You deal with a lot of difficult people, and you learn to be patient with them, and you learn to kind of, before you get angry in a situation or you get frustrated, you learn to step back and think, hey, why? Because normally in a corporate, in a big position, the things that stress you out are other people, generally speaking. It's rarely something that's fundamentally wrong with the product itself. It's more like a relationship thing, either with a partner of the company, someone you're working with outside the company, or with someone within the company. So it's definitely people that would stress you out. That's when I lie awake at night and I'm stressed, right, in that kind of position, I'm stressed because heavens forbid I have to let someone go. That's a difficult conversation. Heavens forbid someone's not getting the salary that they want to get and I've got to break the news to them. That's a difficult conversation. It's maybe someone is trying to take away a piece of the world that I look after, right? So they're kind of trying to eat my lunch. That's also very, very stressful. So, a lot of times you've just got to step back. You've got to put yourself in the position of that other person who you're working with. Like, why are they behaving like that? And you've got to have a lot of face-to-face communication. You've got to build a rapport. You've got to show them that you understand the problem that they're dealing with, and you've got to help them find a solution. So that it just, actually, if I could sum up how I dealt with the stress of working in a high level, it was just, understanding, it was compartmentalizing and just really working out, like knowing that these people problems were just, that's what they were. It was more so that someone was having a bad day. Someone exploded, maybe they had something else in their life. So it was putting in the context that maybe this person didn't actually hate you. Maybe they weren't trying to steal your job. But just understanding people, I think, was one of the biggest things. And just dealing with so many difficult situations kind of helped me just relax a little bit. So when I started dealing with them when I was more senior in the firm, it takes a lot to rattle me because I've just dealt for years and years with difficult situations and how to remain calm. That being said, my wonderful partners who I had throughout the years, whether my most recent girlfriend, they would probably argue that I did bring some of the stress of the workplace home. And I have to say that's normal, right? Like, I don't care if you're at a very junior level and you're stressed. You get stressed at a senior level. You do, at all levels throughout the firm. But I think it's a different kind of stress. Like, it takes a different kind of stress. It takes a lot more to rattle you when you're senior because you've just, as I said, you're just so used to people being, to be honest, a pain in the ass, and you're kind of used to saying, hey, they're just being a pain, it's solvable, Like, when people would bring me, they're like, some of my staff would bring me maybe issues that they're very stressed about, I could just step back and relax because I'm like, guys, we're going to get through this, right? I know through my experience that we're going to get through it and there's no need to get super stressed. Sorry, someone's asking another business question. I'm going to ask a tech one and I'll ask a business one. So Eric, hey Josh, what do you think about electronics products? I do like them. We did one this year. It was not electronics XMG, but it's the same, basically the same chassis. I do like them. You do lose a lot of the kind of premium build of some of the other laptops that we review. So they don't look as nice and they don't feel as nice as some of the other ones. But honestly, electronics, and guys, please check out Electronics' site. A guy I worked with when he was a YouTuber, Bob of All Trades, has moved over there. Great guy. I think they do make good laptops. When I think, and I'm going to talk about this next year when I talk about the new Dell XPSs, but you got form and you got function with a laptop. And it's really how far you want to go on either scale, right? When you choose a form laptop and a function laptop, something like the framework laptops, they're like almost pure function, right? You can upgrade every bit of them. Electronics is kind of about here. So you lose a lot on the form side. They're not going to look as pretty as the Mac. They're not going to look as pretty as the XPS. So I do like them, but know what you're buying and know what you're not buying, right? The next one, I'm going to answer a business question. Besides patience, what are some of the other key skills required to be an effective leader? There's a lot, okay? As an effective leader, I would say, and these I'm just speaking off the top of my head here, okay? When I do the normal business live streams, I'm going to sit down for about 2 hours with a friend of mine who's also was a senior managing director at one of the firms, and we're going to do some notes and we'll be a little bit more prepared. But I'm going to answer this off the top of my head. So what are the other skills to being a senior leader? I think it's very important to lay out a strategy and a vision for the people you lead. And in my case, I led product managers were hardline to me. That means they reported up to me from a HR perspective. And then I was still responsible for all the tech staff that was working on our stuff. Not a dotted line perspective, but my product managers would tell them what to build. So I was responsible for hundreds of software developers of what they were coding. And when you're dealing with people, okay, people work so much harder when they know what when they believe in what they're working on, right? And I'll give you a perfect example. When I worked at a bank in Sydney, Australia as a software developer, and I was just an individual contributor back then, and I got asked to build something. If I didn't know why I was coding it, or I didn't think it was any good, or it just didn't make sense to me, or I didn't like the person who asked me to do it, I'd go to coffee stores, I'd have a coffee during the day or 3 of them. I would go a lot slower, I'd read the news. But if I thought that what they were asking me to build was really valuable, it was helping people, it was a challenging problem, and I really liked the person who was requesting it, oh, I was typing like crazy. I was coding as fast as my hands would type. So as a leader, it's motivating people is very important. And the way to motivate them is just not to be just like a nice guy, but it's also to have a strategy and a vision that you can clearly articulate. Why are people working on what they're working on? Why is it important to someone? Because everyone wants to add value to their careers, right? Everyone wants to see their customer smile and happy and get a 5-star review. And so you've got to clearly say, hey, we are, and I'm speaking, apologies guys, my area of expertise, everybody knows this, is software development. So when we build a software, whether it's an application or a website or a back-end system, communicating how it's going to benefit someone and how what the individual developer or product manager or business analyst, graphic artist is working on is going to make a difference, that's probably the number one thing. So that's very important as a leader, setting a strategy and a vision that makes sense, not one that doesn't make sense. The next is really, I would say, listening and being connected to other people. So when people have a problem or they're upset, you got to make people feel like they're important, okay? And a lot of that is honestly just listening. And it might not be the people below you, it might be the people above you, right? And there's a massive art to listening. I can't tell you enough, right? Whether it's you're an entrepreneur working with a VC, the way you listen can make someone else feel that you're so deeply connected with them. If you mirror their communication, if you mirror their look, if they feel like you're an ally, it can be a huge advantage to leading to both. Because when you're in a senior position, you've got to work with other senior people, to connecting with other senior people. Because you've got to think about it like this too, guys. Whether you're running a company or whether you're running a department in a large company, there's finite resources, right? So if you're going to be successful, you need to get as many people as possible to work on what you're doing. So that means you need to convince people of why it's important to invest in you, whether that is money from like a venture capitalist who's investing in a startup, or whether it's your partner teams in a large corporation committing their resources. And so forming those relationships, and as I said, a big part of that is how you listen and how you connect with other people is probably the second bit of advice I'd say for being successful. Those are just 2 off the top of my head, by the way. How do you deal with annoying higher-ups? This question I'd like to prepare for. Boy, that can be a tough one. Yeah, sometimes again, you guys are asking questions off the top, right? So when I say this, I'm responding to you off the top of my head with very little preparation. So I might miss things here and I might have to come back to them, but annoying higher ups, how do you deal with them? This is how you deal with them. You think about your career and where you want to be. You make sure you know in 10 years, 10 years is a bit long, but in 5 years, you want to be here. Maybe that you want to get a promotion at your company. Maybe you want to be in that person's role, right? And guess what? You suck it up. I hate to say it, and you deal with it. And what I mean by that is if you don't like the way that maybe they're behaving towards you, and I'm putting aside if they're behaving inappropriately. That's a different situation. If they're behaving inappropriately, you go to HR immediately, right? But if your higher up is you don't like them for the way they work, maybe they're controlling, maybe they're treating you poorly in terms that they don't appreciate your work, you've got to listen to really what do they want from you. And you're just going to have to suck it up to give them what they want. If you feel like you're already trying to give them what they want, this higher up that's difficult, and they still don't appreciate, try to find someone else in the company who also works for that person, who does have a really good relationship, and ask them for advice on how you can, like, what are you doing that maybe is not resonating with that person? Now, I'm not saying you have to like the higher up who's treating you badly or who's just awful, okay? I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, when you work with that person, when you enter that company and you're working, your facade goes up, right? You are professional. You give that person, if they're the higher up, what they want. And why? Because you know that in 5 years, your goal is to be here. And that means you're going to have to work with this difficult person for a while until you get to your goal. And your goal outweighs the difficult person. And when you're having a sleepless night at home because you're really angry at this difficult higher up that you have to work with, you just say to yourself, what? This is just, I'm telling you right now, every successful person has to deal with difficult people in the workforce. Everyone. Doesn't matter if you're the CEO or the most junior person, okay? And it's really how you deal with difficult people that's going to separate you from being, very successful or not successful. And a not successful person will fight back, right? That's not what you want to do, right? You don't want to be difficult. You don't want to try and undermine them. You don't want to try and run around to their boss, that person's boss, even if they're even more senior, and say, hey, this person's treating me badly, blah, 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 blah. The reason is their boss actually probably put them in that role, so believes in them. So that would actually be worse doing that. So again, I'm sorry to say, think about where you're heading in your career and just realize that you're on the path, you're moving fast, you're going to be dealing with difficult people, you're going to be putting yourself in the best possible light to that person, you're going to give them everything they want so that they can promote you fast and you get out of there. And I will tell you this, I want to finish off with this about difficult people. In my experience from working in large companies, difficult people rarely last. They rarely last. You might find they get a higher role than you or something like that. They're there for a year or two. But generally speaking, I hate to say it, it's probably around 3 years, those people tend to wash out. They'll be replaced. They'll be moved with someone else. So it's not forever that you have to hang in there. It generally washes out over time. God, guys, we are way off track for my topics here. What time is it right now? So it's 7. My time here where I am. So I'm just having a look at the comments, guys. Do you know what we should do? Before I answer any more, I'm going to draw our competition for who won our Lenovo Legion 5 Pro. Why does it say it ends in 25 hours? I'm going to draw it right now because it should have ended now. Just give me 2 seconds, guys, because I think that would be really cool. Competition has finished. So here we go. So I'm going to draw it. Let's see. No, that's the wrong giveaway. Where is this one? So I'm going to end it now. Action entries. So we've had, wow, 16,000 entries, guys. That's pretty amazing. Let me go here. I want to just finish the competition right now. It should have already ended. It ends tomorrow. I'm going to just end it now. Okay. So that competition is finished, and I'm going to draw the winner. Here we go. So this is for, we had hidden in our video of the laptops we actually use as a team here. We had a Legion 5 Pro, which is a gaming laptop, not the one from this year, the one from last year, as a giveaway. So here we go. So drawing with a winners to draw. One. Here we go. So, and please make sure you actually respond, because the last time we drew a winner who didn't end up responding for a week, and by the time I had to redraw the winner, and then they came back and they'd lost the laptop. But here we go. So Garrett Ruark, I hope my pronunciation is good, who is from South Bend, Indiana in the USA. And this was open to internationals, by the way. You have won a Legion 5 Pro. So congratulations. Please get back to me before a week. I'm going to send you, obviously, an email. I'm going to send you a reminder email. So please get back to me. I'll send you an email that you can respond to with your address. But congratulations to Garrett Ruark for winning a Legion 5 Pro. And guys, honestly, I think we've got to do some more giveaways on the channel. I really do. So I'm going to go back and see if there's any more comments I can answer before I go. So I think everyone, just to sum up, the big two, if you're new to the live stream, the two big announcements that I really wanted to get out today were in 2024, we're going to make a couple of changes. The biggest one is on the website. These are the big two, right? The website is going to be upgraded. So right now it just shows you the laptops we recommend and also where to go to get the best deals on them. We're going to upgrade it. So every laptop that we test here, even the ones we don't recommend, are going to be detailed on the website. So you can see why we didn't recommend them, not just the ones we do recommend. Also, what's going to happen is as the actual testers, which is myself and Ethan and Taylor, are testing the laptop, when we find stuff, all our testing notes will be in the website. So that means that you can see say the Framework 16 is a very, very exciting new laptop that everyone wants to see how it's going to go, right? You'll be able to see our review notes of that as we actually review it. As long as we've passed, sometimes these reviews do have embargo dates, so we can't release data before. But as long as, and most of them don't, by the way, most laptops we test don't. As long as there isn't an embargo preventing us going public with the information, we're going to have the information for you as we're actually testing the device, which means that you should be able to find out what we think about it at least a week or two before we publish a video. Plus, normally for laptops, this channel is all about helping you find the best tech, the tech channel that is. We don't put videos together of laptops that we hate, other than the end of year one we just did on the worst laptops, right? We just don't do reviews on them because we think it's a waste of your time. But with this new change to the website, you'll at least be able to see, again, all the laptops we're testing, even the ones that we don't even make videos on because they're that bad. So if you're potentially buying one, you can see the issues we found on it. So that's a big change to the website. Also with the website, we're going to put all our videos that we took, our scripts that we write for the videos, we're going to convert them into articles so you can just read them on the website too. That's another big change. So that's one big change that we're talking about, the upgrades for the website. The second big change that I wanted to announce tonight is that the business channel will be back next year. It's going to be supercharged. The content I was doing on the business channel just wasn't working. It was scripted content similar to what I did on the tech channel. It works well on the tech channel because you have to be very precise, very hard hitting. But on the business channel, that style of content doesn't work. You want to be more, explain things more naturally. So the business channel, instead of having scripted videos, is going to be a live video every Thursday at a similar time. And this actually tonight was a bit of a test to see, can I do these live ones? So that'll be happening every Thursday, and I'll be there answering people's questions around business, and we'll see how that goes. And if it's successful, we'll keep doing it. If it doesn't, we'll stop. And with that will be a rebrand of the business channel. The colors are going to change. It's got a little bit of an update that we're going to do. And hopefully that should help. Hopefully that helps you guys be successful in your careers, because I don't want to just help you choose a laptop, right? A lot of you guys are buying a laptop to help you move along in your careers. And if I can help you with that, I mean, I may as well, right? I want to. That was the whole point. So just to finish off, because I was going to do the whole presentation again, but I think I've kind of summed it up for you and I don't want to keep you waiting. What I might do, guys, is just answer a couple of questions, right? For the next 10 or 15 minutes. Will the channel be reviewing phones, tablets alongside laptops in 2024? Maybe occasionally. Here's my 2 cents on this question. So this is, will we expand into phones and tablets? I think in any business, it's important to play where you can win. And when you think about a basic, they call it a SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. The mobile space already has a bunch of really good, I'm not saying to my fellow laptop reviewers that they're bad, but I don't think what we bring to the laptop space is a high production level. We do a bunch of comparison videos on laptops, right, where we get in 17 to 20. And and then obviously we're really, really tough with our reviews. I think we're very tough with our reviews. I'll just leave it there. So those are kind of the 3 things we bring. When I look at the phone space, it's very crowded. It's very, very crowded. And there's already very high-level production phone videos out there. Marquez, obviously, is one. There's also a lot of phone comparison videos already out there. So we don't bring the same level of value, I think, to the laptop space. But we might just, if one of the core reviewers buys a phone, thinks there's interesting things to say about it, we might throw up a video about it just to see how it goes. I did that I did 2 phone videos recently. One on the Samsung, the Samsung S23 Plus, and one on the iPhone 14 Plus. This was obviously before the 14 Pro Max. They did okay, but I don't think it's not a core focus. I think there's a lot more laptop type of content that we can cover, like Chromebooks, 2-in-1, so we just didn't get to this year best laptop for video editors. So I'd rather just really be more of a force in the laptop space first, because I think there's opportunity there before we branch out. And the tablets, I think that is more likely for us than going into phones. But there's also some other devices I think we could do well in. But I think in 2024, certainly I can't see us doing a big push into phones, is what I would say, for the reasons I just gave. Next one, opinion on the Galaxy Book 4. Is there a Galaxy Book 4 already? Is that Samsung's announcement? Aren't they announcing next week, in a week or two? I don't have an opinion on it, sorry. Next one. I think you can try it first, see what you think, and switch later. Yeah, this is responding to my comment about the phones. Guys, I'm a big believer in business. You really want to be the number 1 or 2 in a category like Apple or Samsung for phones before you do other things and branch out. I mean, that's where you get the highest margins, right? To grow a business, you do need to be profitable, right? Because you can reinvest into growing it. And I just feel like if we just dabbled we're dabbling in too much. We're dabbling in the business space, then we're dabbling in the phone space. We haven't even got to the number 1 or 2 position in the laptop space. It just doesn't make sense, I think, for us just to, we've only got a certain amount of resources. We'd be spreading our resources, right? But anyway, okay. What is here's another, I think a part of that was, I'm just reading people's comments here now, guys. How does build quality of the Legion Slim 514 compared to the G14? It's pretty similar. I think the G14 is a tinsy bit more tanky compared to, as in it's a little bit more solid than the Slim 514. The Slim 514, they're very similar, honestly, in build quality. Just please be aware. In Lenovo's range, they have like a 1, a 3, a 5, a 7, and a 9. Now, not all their ranges. The Legion doesn't have a 1. Does it have a 3? I don't think so. Maybe it does, but not all of them have all the numbers. But I will say this, the difference between the Legion 7 Pro or the Legion Slim 7 to a Legion 5, it's quite a big drop. It just doesn't have that level of premium feeling, it doesn't feel quite as premium. That being said, the Asus G14 also doesn't feel premium. It feels solid, feels like a great device, but it doesn't feel like a premium high-end one like the MacBook. So I would say Legion 5, Slim 5, and the Asus G14, very similar. Just be aware that it doesn't feel as premium as like the Legion Slim 7 or 7 Pro. That definitely feels premium. Next one. What I see the problem with recommending a laptop to a worldwide audience is to know if the exact model. Yes. Oh, God, this drives me nuts. So what this viewer is mentioning is how hard it is to recommend a laptop to a worldwide audience because there's different configurations available. Obviously, there's different pricing, massively different pricing. To be quite frank, it really drives me nuts. It's really annoying. And it drives me nuts on behalf of you guys, right? Like, why should you guys in Australia, my home country, spend so much more to buy this Mac laptop than we spend in the US? It's ridiculous. And I know there's differences in taxes and shipping, but it doesn't equate to the differences. It's based on the supply and demand in the company and the economics. But it does make it very hard to review laptops for an international audience. I don't think next year we're going to address this, but the year after, I would say, maybe 2025, that's when we'll try to actually improve the website to support international shoppers and finding where to buy laptops for internationals. That is definitely a focus for us. I just got to be honest. I already gave you a bunch of stuff we're developing for the website in 2024, maybe for some of our key markets. And when I say key markets, this is just where we get the most viewers from, which is UK, Canada, India. Maybe for those markets, we'll try and have international pricing, but certainly we can't solve the problem of different configurations being available in different markets. That's very difficult. Is it better to wait for CES to buy a new laptop? My friend, you should have already bought a laptop before Christmas or in Black Friday because that's where then they were on huge sales. Now, I think probably just wait to CES to see what's being announced. But please remember this, okay? Nothing is free. These companies know this. The new laptops, they're going to be much more expensive than buying a laptop from the current generation right now, right? That being said, you kind of missed the boat with you should have been buying Black Friday or Christmas. The next big sales period is probably going to be back to school. But keep an eye out on our website. Sales do rotate through some of the major dealers, and if you are in the US, we keep that website up to date with all the best pricing we can find on the laptops we like. I think at this point, CES is in like 2 weeks. You may as well wait. But please remember this. CES laptops, a lot of them get announced, but they're still not available for weeks, if not months after CES. Like some of the good ones that announced last year weren't available like May. It was ridiculous. And as I said, they're not available straight away. That's one issue, but also pricing. Oftentimes these new ones are substantial, and I've already seen the pricing of some of them can be substantially more than some of the existing ones. So that's something to take into mind as well. So, if I was buying a laptop, I wouldn't unless there was a massive technology advance like the M series was when it was first launched, the Apple M series. We know that Meteor Lake is nice, but it doesn't equate to such a massive, if you were to spend, maybe it's worth a laptop $100 more, maybe $200 to get Meteor Lake versus a 13th gen processor. But other than that, it's not worth waiting around for, because we know next year, AMD wise and Intel wise, there isn't a massive jump coming. Apple's already released M3. We know what that's like. It's also not a massive jump. So with that in mind, when you were dealing with situations like that, it's often better just to buy, a prior year model and save a lot of money. And that means if you do that, you can when there is a bigger jump, you can upgrade more frequently because you've saved money, right? So I think in a year like we're facing right now with M3, Ryzen 8000, and Intel Meteor Lake, it is a year that you're going to find, great deals on laptops from the prior year. We know that the MacBook Pro, guys, I'm going to give you an inside look at this, right? I'm working on a video right now on why I returned my MacBook Pro, my M3 Max 16-inch. I ran the same video export on my, this is a MacBook Pro. This is the M2 Pro. Apple's naming, far out. They're not as bad as Intel AMD, but still. This is a M2 Pro. I have two M3 Pro 14 inches. And so I tested all my Macs with this particular test, which is rendering a video. The M2 Pro completely destroyed the M3 Pro for the reason that I explained. But all the the Pro series have the same media encoding engine, or very, very similar, and it's really memory bandwidth. They nuked memory bandwidth. So coming into next year, moral of what I'm trying to say is it's going to be a great year to buy a laptop from 2023, substantially discounted, but buy it in 2024, because we know these 2024 products, they're not, a lot of them, if they're just replacing the processor like they did in the MacBook, they're not a massive step forward at all. In the MacBook's case, a couple of things are a step forward, some are a step back. And we've even seen that in Meteor Lake and some of the laptops we're testing as well. Not all of it is a step forward. And so again, this coming year, keep your eyes open for great deals on 2023 models. It's definitely a year for that. Any other questions, guys, before I go? I'm starting to get a bit hungry. So get 16-inch MacBook Pro to start off software development career, or get 32 gig just in case. If you're starting off a software development, honestly, 16 gig is going to be pretty fine. 32 gig as a software developer, it's either your application that's going to need a lot of memory, or you're running like a lot of virtual machines on your laptop. If you're starting your career, 16 is probably going to be fine. And honestly, in 2 years' time, when you have a better sense of what you're developing and what your needs are, there's going to be better laptops out there. The upgrade to 32 gig, what is Apple charging for that? Like $400? You may as well save the money. And literally, if it's an Apple laptop, sell the laptop and upgrade it in a couple of years to a better one. i5 1240p good for coding? Yes, it is. Again, with coding, I can't stress this enough to you guys. When you ask me for coding advice, please tell me what you're coding. It's very different. Like, there was a time I was writing software for a Monte Carlo simulator, custom software for that. If you guys know what a Monte Carlo simulation is, it uses so much memory, it's not even funny. It's insane how much memory it is, right? So in that case, if someone said to me, is 16 gig good enough? I'd say, no, you need 128, 256. You need every possible memory that you can bloody get. Sorry, I almost swore there. But whereas if someone's just doing simple web dev, right? Like you're just developing a web application, often you don't need that much. Again, another example, if you are testing concurrency as a software developer, concurrency, it's multiple people hitting the same thing at the same time, you might want to simulate that by running equivalent to many, many users on your laptop hitting the same thing. That needs a lot of processing power and a lot of memory. So when you guys ask me for advice on a laptop for a coder, please tell me what kind of coding you're doing. All right, I'm playing with you guys because you guys are amazing. Aya asks, like memory bandwidth matters, also for software development, is M3 better? Yeah, so here's the skinny with memory bandwidth, okay? It depends what you're doing on it. Hardware accelerated tasks, so these are like when you do with video editing, each frame is kind of like encoded. It doesn't work. Some of the encoding is multi-frame encoding, but it needs to be decoded so you can see what an image looks like on the screen, then re-encoded. Generally speaking, whether it's 3D rendering or encoding and decoding, for 2D video editing, it's hardware accelerated. Hardware acceleration is very fast. The execution of those tasks, very, very fast. So it becomes heavily bottled by memory bandwidth. And that's why for graphics cards, which are hardware accelerated 3D rendering, they use very, very fast GDDR6 memory, right? Up to 1000 gigabits of, is it gigabits? Gigabits or gigabytes? I can't remember, gigabits, I think, of memory bandwidth, whereas the Apples use 400, right? So 40% of what an NVIDIA RTX 4090 uses, right? So hardware accelerated tasks need fast memory bandwidth. Most coders, unless you're coding for like a game, most coders are really not hitting hardware acceleration as much. They're not, in my experience. And we're talking about app dev coding, we're talking about website coding. So for you, the M3 Pro is totally fine, even though it has less memory bandwidth, okay? It's really those who are doing like video editing, that's heavily hardware accelerated, coding for a game, playing games, that's where the memory bandwidth issue is going to hit home. Hope that makes it very clear. Someone's asking, when will Max get a number pad? I have no idea. What a question. I just don't know. I want one more business question, guys. Would you be interested in reviewing the top TVs of 2024? I kind of covered that when I talked about phones. It's not a... I don't think we're ready. The team needs to be bigger to kind of expand to different product lines. I think we've got the right structure in place to expand to different product lines, whether it is phones, whether it is TVs. But I just feel like there's more to do in the laptop space first. There's a lot. We really just didn't, and I don't mean dominate it as well as like beating out our competitive laptop reviewers. I actually know pretty much most of them, great guys, right? I want everyone to be successful. I mean, we as a channel alone can do more in the laptop space than what we have done. And I really want to get that done first. And once we've got the process in place for reviewing laptops, we really know what we do know what we're doing, but we've massively improved it. Then I think we're ready to expand a bit, whether it's phones or whether it's TVs. Are you going to review the Lenovo budget LOQ gaming laptop? Yeah, that was a huge miss of us last year, and yes, we will. And that also speaks to our problem that we had last year, because the first half of last year I was part-time, our video editor was part-time, so we just didn't have the capacity to review enough laptops. But this coming year we got a lot. I mean, we got a lot of capacity compared to last year, right? We have 5 full-timers. We'll get to it. If you're doing any AI model training, that would be hardware accelerated. Yes, that is correct. Well, I hope it's hardware accelerated. It would take forever if it wasn't. And his hardware acceleration, this is where you're using like CUDA from NVIDIA, that kind of thing on a dedicated graphics. But also, honestly, with hardware accelerated AI coding, you're probably running on server farms, not on a local laptop anyway, unless you're just testing a small model. How to deal with burnout at work? Yes. I got very excited because I wanted a business question. How to deal with, we got 2 business questions. How to deal with burnout at work? Take a break. I think with burnout, and I hope this camera's batteries lasts for me to answer these questions. If it doesn't, it was nice seeing everyone. But with burnout at work, I think you got to remember everybody's human, okay? And you have to take a break. You have to. And I'm referring to a holiday, a week off, a long weekend off. You have to force yourself. And for high achievers and people who are very driven, you know, I do mean myself here, I'm a perfectionist. I want to achieve. I want to be successful as much as possible. We tend to feel bad when we take time off. We're like, oh, I could be using this time to work on another video or do this presentation for my boss or make this presentation better. But if you take time off, you're going to work better if you've had a break. Okay, and we're talking about burnout at work. You're going to work better if you have a break. And if you step back a moment, often you can think of new ways to do things that you didn't think about before, whether that's going to other cultures and learning from other people, or whether it's just having a moment to think. And when you think about how you can be more efficient and more effective, a lot of times that you're doing a certain thing, you don't step back and go, hey, what I was spending all this time at, and I was just spending so much time at it, I was getting really, really burnt out. My boss was only looking at it for like 5 seconds, or maybe it wasn't that valuable to the company. Why was I spending all this time at it? And it's only once you step back, take a break and think about, hey, does this make sense how I'm spending my time? Do you think, oh, I'm going to change, right? And change, and you want to be as efficient and effective as possible. So I think taking a break is good for that. Taking a break is also good for your own well-being, that you're going to be better able to work at work if you're more rested and relaxed. And you've got to remember as well, that everybody you're working with, everybody you're competing with, they're all human. And they're taking breaks, right? And if you're a high achiever, you're very driven, it's hard to kind of step back and say, hey, I'm just going to take the day off. But you've got to reward yourself for it. You've got to say, hey, it's, 9 p.m. at night, it's enough for today. Because let me tell you this, if you can't be successful with at least having breaks, right? And when I say breaks, minimum 2 hours off per day, at least one full day off in the weekend. If you can't be successful having that much time off, there's something else that you've done wrong, okay? Either you're being inefficient with the time you're putting in, you're working on something that you don't have the right education for. And I don't mean education just going to university, you just don't have the knowledge, you're not doing things the right way. Something is wrong with how you're working. So when you get burnt out, you got to take breaks, and because that's going to solve the burnout. And you've got to realize that you can still be successful with taking breaks, okay? Yes, the winner was drawn for the Legion 5 Pro. It was Garrett, who I'm going to be emailing after this. Next one, I wanted to ask one more business question. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan says that I speak very well without a script. Thank you very much. That was kind of like a little selfish reason I wanted to hop online today. I mean, I also feel like a selfish reason was that I wanted to see, hey, can I do this style of video? Because I intend to do it for the business channel every Thursday. Because for those who just recently joined, business channel is going to switch from scripted content to a live stream every Thursday. I wanted to see, can I do it? But also, I want to give you guys a different experience. I want you guys to be not just this tech channel that you watch, it's cold, it's not human. I want you guys to kind of come on this journey with us here and with me here. So you guys get to experience this company as it's being built, and you get to see what's going on behind the scenes. And I thought you guys have been so supportive of me and the channel. I wanted to share, give you guys a different experience to building out a tech channel than just sitting there and watching it from afar. So there was one other business question that I thought was really good. Crystal Williams asked, did you discuss product management methodologies and lessons learned, knowledge shared on your business channel? I will, Crystal. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Crystal is asking about product management methodologies and lessons learned, knowledge shared. Absolutely. And I frigging hope that the product managers of some of the laptops we review will watch that session, because some of them are kind of failing to do 101 of product management. If you're new to the channel, and my career was spent heavily in software development, and then I shifted over to be product manager and eventually running quite a large product management department that looked after all software products, websites, mobile apps, back-end systems, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll definitely be covering product management. That was part of my absolute bread and butter. So, and with product management, I mean, the fundamental is you got to know what people want. Like, what problem are you actually solving with what you're building? Because if you don't understand that and who you're solving it for, that's a big problem. The next one, should we expect any new changes in the laptops next year? From Vinu. I kind of touched on this a little bit. On the CPU side, you're not going to expect a lot. We know what M3's got for the Max, right? It's faster. It's definitely faster single core, but there's nothing, I don't think there's anything revolutionary for most, unless people are going to start playing ray traced games on a Mac. There's nothing overly revolutionary about what we've seen. Intel, again, we see more powerful integrated graphics, but let's call a spade a spade. That's the best thing about Media Lake, but let's call a spade a spade. A lot of people who want powerful graphics from a laptop, they're going to get one with dedicated anyway. AMD, there's not much going on next year. I don't, and some products I'm under embargo, so I'm not going to speak about them, but I think it's a very incremental year for laptops next year. And that's why I said earlier, some are jumping forward, like we're going to see the launch of the Framework 16. That's more of a revolutionary product, but for the most part, I think it's a little bit more incremental next year. I think if anything, we're all very excited to see these Qualcomm Snapdragon, I think Snapdragon X Pro or something like that, the processor, which is the ARM-based processor for Windows laptops coming from Qualcomm. I think that one's very interesting to watch, but I do think, and we see this every so often, Next year is going to be a year which will be very interesting for buying 2023 laptops in 2024 at a cheaper price, because I think a lot of laptops will be very incremental enhancements. That's my prophecy for 2024. Where are we looking? Reposting business question. Thank you, Paradigm Shift. Is economic and financial knowledge or people management skills the most important moving up from a IC developer role? Can someone tell me what's IC developer? Oh, guys, we're going to have to hold there because the camera is actually running out of batteries and I stupidly didn't plug it into a charger. So I think we'll probably call it for now. But this has been fantastic. I've really enjoyed tonight. It's been really great to have you guys with me all through 2023. Thank you, everyone. Have a great new year. And I'm looking forward to a lot more content and getting to see you all guys again next year in 2024. I'll catch you later.